All right, boys. There's a lot of trepidation about Diablo 4 right now. Patch just came out, nerfed everything to the ground. DM here is going to tell us why that is a problem.
Look, I normally try to strike a balance, and normally I try not to. I've done a lot of complaining in the past about games.
Also, by the way, I really want to play Diablo 4. I want to play it so badly, but when I first played Diablo 4, I played a Necro. And I quit once I got to level, I think I was like level 60 something, maybe close to 70. About halfway through World Tier 3. And the game just sucked. The game was not fun. And then they nerfed Necros again. After they nerfed Barbarians, they were just nerfing everything to the ground. And it just got to a point where it's just like, why am I grinding if the game's just shit?
And I try to go in, I look at stuff, I think, okay, what's the positives out of this? And I try to keep, the excitement and whatnot going for the people that are excited, etc. But like my shirt says, not today. Okay. So if you don't want to see negativity, I would click off of this video now, because this video is going to be my unedited, thoughts on the patch after having tested it, having talked to a bunch of people. And honestly, after the live stream yesterday, I played the patch. I was like, I need a beer and burger. So I went to a bar, I had a beer, and I ate a burger. And I went home and went to bed and didn't think about it because I didn't want to. Then I came alive again this morning, and I thought, yep, still hate it. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
So after sleeping on it, still hates the patch. Not a good sign starting off. 100% not a good sign.
I want to address...
By the way, if you guys don't know, DM is the biggest Diablo 4 creator that we have currently. He is the guy.
The first things, which is that there is hidden nerfs in the patch as well. There are things within the patch that are very bugged and very nerfed. I will give you one such example right now. I have 2 more skill points than normal. You know why?
Terrible sign. He's opening the Necromancer skill tree here. This is not a good sign for you, boy.
Because this move right here, perfectly balanced.
Bone Spear build, by the way. He has 9 points in Bone Spear over here. This is a Bone Spear build.
Is now bugged, and it is a 1 out of 3. I have no idea why. It just no longer accepts 3 skill points. That has been already confirmed as a bug. Cinders seem to be dropping way less. This is also confirmed as a bug. You know what else dropped? The tier in which Nightmare Dungeon I can clear. And that one's not a bug, because my character, when I logged in today, not only did less damage, but took way more damage. The problem with this game already...
Dude, no. That's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see even less damage. It's already... The game right now is already just not fun, because there's no viable builds. There's like 1 or 2 viable builds per class. Doing even less damage is super not fun. The only thing that I've seen that makes sense is potentially that they are maybe gearing the game towards an end game build that has to do with the malignant mechanics that they have, which are supposedly going to be the strongest mechanics in the game. So maybe in end game you're going to be just absolutely nuts, but the game's still not fun before you get to end game, which you will spend most of your time, there, especially for casual players.
Was not that I'm surviving too much. I don't know where that came into the equation and why you probably saw me be basically shocked when I was going through the patch notes. I was trying to be like, okay, well, maybe there's something I don't get. Because I'll be honest, a lot of times I don't understand the patch notes as much as other people. I'm not a pro at this game. I try my best to give basic tips and entertain the audience. I know that. Sure. I'm trying. Okay? So when I read these patch notes, like the Barbarian nerf and the Rogue nerf, sometimes I miss things. But I can't miss it when it stares me in the face when I log into the game and bluntly see, oh, I just die now. And what I don't understand is that this isn't a game where it's like I go 100% HP, 80% HP, 70%, 60%. Oh, I better heal 50%, 40%. Oh no, I made 3 or 4 mistakes.
You go zero
you
to
make
100.
1 mistake.
Yeah.
You either stood in a cheesy CC circle and it was a skill issue of not dodging the CC, or a guy goes and then like runs through you and one-shots you out of nowhere. At no point in any of the times when I died before the nerf did I think, oh wow, that damage was slow, methodical, and I could have avoided. It was always instant, and I'm always dying right now because of either one really cheesy thing or of a skill issue. So when I started playing this patch and started getting nuked even quicker, I just thought all it did was take what felt like the damage problem, which is either I'm live or dead. There's like no middle ground, and then just
made it worse.
Extended that.
Yeah.
So I really kind of don't get that, and I especially feel bad for literally anyone that wants to play hardcore. We were going to do a...
Well, dude, what about casual players? I mean, this fucks casual players. It's supposed to be a casual game, you know what I mean?
Hardcore challenge for the season 1, and like
nobody
all
cares
of my
about
friends
hardcore.
have bailed on even wanting to play hardcore already. Now, I can understand the argument that I think people are making, and I myself was trying to understand with my copium of like, okay, where's the good in this? Which is maybe it's like a veggie shake, okay? Which is right now it feels bad, but it's good for you and the longevity of it.
Yeah.
And then the longer I thought about that logic, I actually don't care if it is good for the longevity of it.
Because who cares? Who cares how good the end game is when you have to play 90% of the game as the early game? Like most people won't see the end game. Who cares?
Because what it's not good is for the immediate longevity of it, if that's actually a term. People are going to hate this. When you log in, your character feels worse. The people that min-max their gear just got the fact.
And to anyone that quit before World Tier 5 like me, I mean, this is what you don't want to see, dude. The game's already not fun. I don't want my character to do less damage and die easier. The game's not fun, dude. I want to do more damage.
Actual downgrade. No one feels stronger after the patch. We all feel weaker. And the one I really don't understand is why we nerfed experience in the game that's designed. It looks like I've always said this game is designed for casuals. And I've also, and me and everybody else that looks around says casuals aren't going to hit level 100.
Yeah.
So why are we nerfing experience?
Yeah, true.
For casuals. And then why is the experience that is now it's way harder to get less experience? They up the risk, but didn't up the reward in the same quantity. So that part has been frustrating for me the longer I've thought about it as well.
Play Diablo 4.
The time of prophecy has come, knights. If we can't stop Lilith, we'll all...
There's stuff I absolutely like in the patch. I like that they're adding new unique items.
Yeah,
but when I
cool.
realized this one isn't uber rare, I didn't realize this when I was reading the patch. I realized it the day after. I no longer even care that it's in the game.
Yeah, you're never going to see it.
Uber rare.
You're never going to see it.
1 out of 30 billion people on the planet are going to get it. And here's the other funny part. They made this uber unique a staff. So only some classes are even going to be able to use the damn thing. So the community has been very boiled up, so much to the point that they're kind of doing a campfire chat on Friday to discuss this. Which
I can't wait to watch this, dude. I already see
the Twitch chat and how this is going to go.
I can't wait.
It doesn't matter where you go. You can go to any YouTube video. You can go to any Reddit post. You can go to any Twitter post. I don't see anyone who likes these changes.
No, of course
everything
not.
From avid fans to people that don't even like the game. I actually talked to the Act Man on the live stream, and
especially people that don't like the game for the reasons that I stated earlier.
You asked him, did you think that these would be the type of changes you'd like? He's like, yeah, maybe it'd make it more difficult. But it's like even someone who played the game a little bit and didn't like it, they're not going to come back to these games because of these changes. Is my point here. So the reason people are so mad right now is everyone basically just took all the time to build their character and then logged in on the day they expected to be hyped up for the season.
Yeah.
And when they came back to the game after probably like a week or two break, they just see that their characters worse.
Season is launched right now, by the way.
Content that's in the game than they can already do. They literally can do less content now than they could before, right before the season. So they took a pin and deflated the balloon right as the season hype is about to start, baby. And this is supposed to be this is supposed to be the moment where like people come back and like, oh, here we go. So I don't really get the logic of the previous campfire of like, we're going to have you have broken, overpowered fun builds, but then you nerf everything right before it. We're talking big nerf numbers. Like these aren't...
Take a line out of the MOBA / Overwatch slash arena shooter character style games where you release your characters busted as fuck. Why? Because you want players to have fun and you want them to want to play the game. You want them to want to play that character. You want to release a character busted so people are hype. They want to play. They want to enjoy the game. They want to have fun. In some games, you have to buy the character. You want them to buy the character, but you don't want to start a season off. You don't want to start a new patch of a game off where everything feels sloggy. You want things to be busted. You want them to be busted and then dial them back. You don't want them to be weak and then move into more of like a busted territory, because it doesn't make sense with the player base. More players are going to be playing the beginning of any sort of content release than at the end of one, right? So you want those people to have fun and try to retain those people and then tune it back later on.
Small numbers, you look at these nerfs. This is a 50 to 25%. So that is a 50% nerf on core stats of intelligence. Cooldown by 30%. Critical strike damage,
Insane.
17%. Lightning, 17%. Vulnerable damage, 40%.
Your main damage stat.
Okay.
Your main damage
as much
reduced
as vulnerable
40%.
damage on crossbows is 65%. Inherit on swords, critical strike damage by 50%.
Crazy
This nerfs,
damage
like,
nerfs.
everything. And then the stuff they increase is by 25%. And this has to do with just
Conditionals.
raw stats of like physical damage with
Conditionals.
two-handed, et cetera, conjuration damage. They increased some stats to compensate. But the ones they decreased are multiple of the modifiers that multiply
They're the
off
main
each other.
stats.
Like vulnerable, critical strike, and core. These are all like, core
Yep.
stats. That is not core damage. These are all like individual multipliers. And that's where you get your big numbers from. So everyone lost a lot of damage because of this. But what's more frustrating isn't even the damage. I mean, you could probably get past losing some damage, but it's the items. Like people just went and farmed hell tides forever. They get perfect stat items. And then they log into the game and their items are just way worse. Like
Yeah,
you
it
can
sucks.
actually see this on my sword here. Like I went and I max row the vulnerable one, and this was like 70.5% or something like that. And I log in, it's 42% today. I'm just like, holy moly, that feels weird. I was actually okay with the Bone Spear build nerfs. Like I know Evosion is pretty good. That's why I got ranks of it in my amulet. Obviously the Splintering's good. It went from, I mean, look at my row now. It's 129%. So I get nerfing the class skills, but they doubled down and they nerfed everything else. So everyone just kind of feels bad about this patch. And honestly, I feel bad about this patch. So I'm put it this way, boys. When DM comes up here that has nothing like really positive, like I don't have a lot positive to say. And it's pretty rare because I try to keep pretty positive and be pretty happy about things. But I kind of don't get this one.
No.
I really especially don't get the timing of it. There's only one argument I can understand, which is that they reduced all of the damage reduction, all of the total armor and all that now to get a baseline because everyone's going to start new characters in the season, and they want to see how weak people are so that by season 2, when they adjust resistances, they will be able to have better data to accumulate resistances within defensive properties. That's the only logic I can make out of this from like a development standpoint. Maybe they're trying to get the data. But here's my counter. I don't care if they're trying to get the data from it. I want to have fun with the game now. I just don't care. It's not my problem to develop the game. It's not my problem to figure out the balance of the game.
They should have done that shit in the very beginning, dude. That's the whole point of not releasing a ladder off rip, is so you can do shit like that. You can tweak things. You can make things weird. Like, what the fuck?
It's my problem to play the game and have fucking fun because I paid for the game.
Yeah.
So I don't see a way in which I would even care, even if that is the logic behind it. So I don't have a lot of positive things to say. I'm sorry it's a negative video. I tend not to be overwhelmingly negative. But I mean, I was live streaming and it's just overwhelming how many people hate this. And honestly, after playing it, like I played it for like 4 hours, tested out stuff. Yes, you can absolutely still blast through Nightmare Dungeons if you have, great gear and stuff. Yes, you can still kill Uber Lilith. I'm sure I can still kill Uber Lilith even with my nerfed build. Okay. But the game feels slower and worse for having had these changes. And I'm just a little bit bummed out about it today. That's the honest truth. I want to make one last point at the end here. You know why the rogue feels so good to play compared to the other classes?
Why?
Because it's fast and the mechanics are fast. You're daggering and then jumping across somewhere else, and then all the daggers go through and you're just speeding through everything.
Yeah.
Everyone likes that, right?
It's
So
fun.
when you slow the entire game down,
Not good.
everyone's not going to like it. That's the point. Faster feels better in an action RPG. There's more action when the game is fast. When it's slow, there's less
Makes sense.
action. And when there's less loot, there's less action. And guess where the loot comes from? Killing things. So when you kill things slower, there's less loot. So now we have less action, basically less loot. Okay.
Makes sense. DM Diablo 4 skeptical about the patch. What does that say for your boy?
You must learn to obey. You must learn to obey. You must learn.